again at the beginning of everything. Hello, AI, blockchain, smart cities, the total transformation of how we live, work, and move.
The shortest distance between 2 points is a line. Let's say one of your clients has to regularly send payments of $10,000 to Jakarta. They deposit the money to your bank in New York, you send it to London, London sends it to Stockholm, then on to Brisbane, and finally, after who knows how long, to its destination. In the meantime, you're back at the office with almost no way of tracking the money. By the time it arrives, days have gone by, the currency's been changed, human error has caused delays and data mistakes, FX and Benny deduction fees have been extracted, and your client supplier receives only $9,500. They want the $500 difference. You could have sent an express envelope full of cash, faster, cheaper, and more reliably. It's a mess. The reason it's a mess is that this system was designed 40 years ago, back when cross-border payments were the exception, not the rule. It's arcane, archaic, expensive to maintain, and slow. It may not be glamorous, but payments are the plumbing that makes our global economy work. Unfortunately, the system we have now is running on rusty pipes. With the amount of payments racing around the world these days, the problem has become too big to ignore.
It was the first for us. It's the first using that particular technology. HSBC is ready to do a live transaction using a technology that is still very young. It allows us to transact using digital assets on a decentralized platform, which means it's peer-to-peer. So this wasn't just about a one-off transaction that just HSBC did in a silo. This is something that we're building together with industry, with our collaborators, other banks, as well as corporates. Blockchain will give us the Internet of Transactions. The next few years, I think what we'll see is an expansion of both the functionality of the application, as well as its scope in terms of the participants that are connected to that network. We think that the horizon requires both of these things to occur in order to actually drive real value.
Today, every bank is digital, but they're digital islands in themselves. This platform really allows these islands to get bridged together into one. The second big benefit is, given the efficiency this creates, this will lead to lower transaction costs for our customers. I think the movement from paper to digital will be much faster than any of us anticipate. And for us, the faster we get there, the better it is for the customers, better it is for the banking industry, and for trade in general across the world. This platform has been built by banks to make sure the platform is fit for purpose. It now needs to be taken to the next level. We are happy to take the lead. The platform has to be bank agnostic, so it cannot be led or driven only by one bank. Everyone is an equal participant, and that's very important for this to be successful.
You have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard a very large systemic bank here saying that they're launching their digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system. The voice that we heard, which was, I thought, really interesting, were those of the regulators and central bank governors who said, well, yes, this is good and this is helpful and it is changing the business model of commercial banks. But we have to be mindful of two things: trust and stability of the system. And we are equally concerned, we at the IMF, about stability. We don't want innovation that would shake the system so much that we would lose the stability that is needed.
Built for the age of ideas and independence. Built for the game changers and innovators like you. This is Digital Banking Reloaded.
Currently, cross-border transactions require many intermediaries to execute, so settlement takes multiple days. This often creates costs and risks that make it difficult to meet today's market demands. Ripple enables cross-border payments to execute directly between banks within seconds, and provides the banks end-to-end visibility throughout the whole process. Ripple is infrastructure technology banks can adopt to power new payment services like low-value retail and corporate payments. Let's see Ripple in action, enabling a person-to-person remittance use case.
And so we found this very interesting tech company called Ripple that we're going to invest in, right?
Okay, what is Ripple?
So Ripple is basically a platform to allow people to transfer money from bank account to bank account, person to person, really securely, really simply, really quickly, okay? So we found this company, we thought it was really, really interesting, and it runs on this stuff called XRP, which is a cryptocurrency, but basically it's just a way to get value from here to there, okay? So we're meeting with these folks, and they're explaining to us, the people who run it, this guy Chris Larson and a guy named Brad Garlinghouse, and they run it, and they're talking about the ethic of this company and this platform, and how they actually really care about being an ethical company and giving a portion of this platform away to people that are doing good in the world. So it was around the exact same time that I ran into you on the beach, and you told me about this amazing birthday gift that you got from Porsche, and you explained to me that if you weren't doing this, that what you would be working on is that project, right?
Yeah, I would be saving the gorillas, yes.
You would be saving the gorillas, and everybody knows about this thing. So, but you never ask anyone for anything ever. And you said, at some point, I'm gonna need some help with this, and I said, you're asking me for help. You never ask anyone for help, ever. And at the same time, you called him.
It was on your birthday. You called me on your birthday. I was like, wow, she's calling me on her birthday. Is everything okay? And you wanted to share with me this incredible story, the gift of a lifetime that Porsche gave you. And I promised you on that call that I'd be there to help you. And we are brothers, and we're here to help you.
And so we talked to Chris and Brad, and we said, there's this amazing human being. And all they ever do is think about other people they can give to. Whether it's in New Orleans, whether it's in Montecito, whether it's the people that come here, the people out there, you're always thinking about everyone else. And we wanted to show you that people are thinking about you. So, on behalf of Ripple, we'd like to give you $4 million. Now, usually people come out with the big giant check and do the big giant check thing, but we can actually transfer it into Rwandan francs right now, right here, and all we have to do is push this button and it's in your account. Do you want to push it? You want me to push it?
I would like to push it. I'd like to push it real good.
Bingo.
We love you. I love you.
Yeah, we all love you.
I love you. I love you.
Have a great vacation.
All right. Oh my God. That was the most amazing thing. Thank you. I love you both so much. You know that. And I love Ripple. Thank you, Ripple, for doing this. And now everybody knows how to. You can just send money easily like that. What a great thing.
Let's do this. Now is the time to create the world we want. So, take charge of the change, and let's begin.
And several of the world's leading central banks on a seminal study examining the use of blockchain within the context of central bank issued digital currencies. The big strategic conclusions are as follows. Firstly, cryptocurrencies, which have garnered most of the press and most of the interest emanating around digital currency, are essentially, in our view, a distraction. They are best viewed as a speculative asset and treated as such, but they are not going to make a major impact on the world's financial system anytime soon. Secondly, although perhaps one day cash and coin, i.e. fiat currency, may well be replaced by digital instruments, this isn't going to happen anytime soon. However, where we really see use cases emerging is in the application of blockchain and digital assets to wholesale financial services, in particular cross-border payments.
You dropped a bombshell in the luncheon there. That's the way I was describing it. It's almost like a mic drop. You are exiting this job, almost like a mic drop, and you said we need to go to a global virtual currency. It's a 23-page speech. It's very heavy. Give us the thumbnail. Why can't...
I want to know, did you just read the conclusion of the speech, Steve?
No, I read 14 pages, and then I jumped to the conclusion.
So what's the point?
Give us the thumbnail. Why can't the dollar be the global currency?
Okay, the dollar is the global currency. We know that. The challenge is that the U.S. share of the global economy has been reducing. The dollar's share of payments, not just financial assets, but payments, a lot of payments between countries that have nothing to do with the U.S. are in dollars. And what happens in situations like we're in today, where the U.S. economy, to its credit, is relatively strong, is doing better, and the Fed has been doing the right thing, which is, they've adjusted policy, they tightened policy as it was strengthening. Now they're making, the Fed is doing the right thing, but they have adjusted and policy is relatively strong. That means rest of world policy is tighter than it needs to be, and that feeds back on the U.S. economy in a way that ultimately slows this economy. And it leads to a substandard outcome. And in a world where you only have limited policy space, it's a dangerous place to be. And so the trade issues we're talking about are reinforced by the structure of the monetary system. Now, I mean, you've asked a big question, so just give me a second to, but now the issue is, you don't just jump to something new overnight. And what we want in a multipolar world, I think we'd agree that we've got European engine, we've got the Chinese engine, we've got the US engine of this economy. Multipolar world, you need a multipolar currency. The question is, how do you get there?
Нужно обеспечить расчеты, поэтому изобретается что-то помимо SWIFT. Международной системы действующих расчетов, действующей международной системы расчетов. Поэтому переходят все больше и больше к расчетам в национальных валютах. Да, вы правы, безусловно, в том, что волатильность на развивающихся рынках, волатильность национальных валют, она очень большая. Это неизбежно. Но создаются какие-то инструменты, которые снижают эту волатильность. Например, в рамках БРИКС создан пул национальных валют, создан банк совместный и так далее. То есть вот эти инструменты уже создают. Да, они пока, вот этот банк, он пока не сопоставим по своим возможностям с МВФ. Но это все-таки что-то такое в этом направлении. Значит, да, существует волатильность валют, но вот если все время над этим думать, а над этим начали думать постоянно, элементы страховки, хеджирования рисков, они будут изобретены. Они возможны. Уже сейчас, я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но с некоторыми странами мы уже сейчас нашли определенный инструментарий, как можно действовать, избавляя себя от этих рисков. Можно привязываться к определенным вещам. Это все можно делать. Это не произойдет с сегодня на завтра. И наши компании, допустим, в нефтегазовой сфере, в сфере углеводородов не заинтересованы, чтобы сегодня на завтра отказаться от расчетов в долларах и перейти исключительно на национальные валюты. Но если эти инструменты будут изобретены, уйти от доллара и избавиться от рисков волатильности национальных валют, то будет постоянный переход. Так, как только это произойдет.
SWIFT today is a one-way messaging framework. It actually isn't a liquidity provider, right? It's SWIFT messaging partnered with bank liquidity. When we think about an Internet of Value, it's a mixture of two-way messaging frameworks, moving to real-time, a chatty protocol, if you will, coupled with real-time liquidity. And I hear people talk about volatility, and I feel like they're propagating misinformation. The volatility risk of fiat, volatility is just a mathematical calculation of time times volatility. If you hold fiat for, let's say, an average SWIFT transaction today is in the order of magnitude 2 days, that's about 180,000 seconds. An XRP transaction is 3 seconds. So if you take a low volatile asset times a long duration, fiat, or a high volatility asset versus a very, very short amount of time, it turns out mathematically there's less volatility risk in an XRP transaction than there is in a fiat transaction. The difference is you have market makers. When you do a SWIFT transaction, there's banks saying, there's a market maker saying, I'll lock in that rate. I'll take the volatility risk for the next 2 or 3 days. With XRP, you don't have to do that because it settles so quickly.
You will, for the first time, have one point of access to any account in any country and in any currency in the world.